Hey everyone, welcome to this full moon Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for the full moon on Thursday, August 15th, 2019. All right, so full moon time, full moon in Capricorn. If you're expecting me to say Aquarius just then, be sure to check out the link down below for more information on true Sidereal Astrology. All right, so heightened part of the lunar cycle. About 2 weeks ago, we had some new beginnings, some new shifts, and now we're at the heightened part of the lunar month. So Capricorn is about the side of ourself, which is about taking the long road. It's represented by the sea goat, which is about climbing, achievement, testing our structures, really working within the more grounded elements of life to really cultivate our long-term plans, goals, perspectives, in life, and to create structure to make that happen, especially internal structure like discipline and patience. So really good to implement these qualities of ourself, but we could just notice that there's some awareness of this energy collectively and with ourselves that we can now further develop and maybe make some shifts and changes with regarding this lunar month and even yearly cycle. So with this, we do have some oppositions, quite a few oppositions with the full moon involving both Venus and Mars. So in this case, really good to balance things involving relationships, involving our enjoyments. With Mars, maybe balancing our initiating side, taking action, being assertive, all of this really good to implement as well. All right, so let's take a look at this as well as some of the aspects that we have going on here around this Thursday in more detail when we return. All right, so here is the chart for the full moon. So the full moon will be at 09:51 Eastern Time of the Americas on Thursday, August 15th. However, we will likely feel this the surrounding days, and this video is for the surrounding days, so the 14th, 15th, and 16th. So here's the full moon, the moon opposite the sun. And we do have a lot of activity next to the sun right now involving both Venus and Mars in Leo. So if you are new to the channel, definitely check out the link down below. You will notice a lot of the signs are different, like the full moon in Capricorn instead of Aquarius. We're using the actual size of the constellations as seen in the visible sky. So definitely check out that link down below for more information on true sidereal astrology. All right, so let's go ahead and start first with the general analysis of Capricorn and what a full moon represents. So full moons are a time of completion. Could be completions taking place now from anything that you've started, again, 2 weeks ago from the new moon, but also in the yearly sense. So 6 months ago, anything around then that you started to implement in your life could be a heightened part of the cycle as well. Full moons are a great time of doing a status check because while things are coming to a completion, it is also good to see what's working and what isn't, right? And maybe make some shifts and changes. And that's the other aspect of the full moon, is that with this status check, we can now be aware of what shifts and changes we want to make. And in essence, what we want to continue to develop for the remainder of the cycle. So in the short-term sense, the next 2 weeks, implementing maybe some of these new insights, this status check, these shifts and changes over the next 2 weeks, but also over the next 6 months, again, if it's involving that more yearly perspective for you. So Capricorn, the sea goat, is about taking things with the long-term perspective. If we kind of look at goats, for example, we can see that they are climbers, right? Awesome climbers. And so this sort of energy represents the side of ourself that is the climber. The steady, long-term, patient, diligent. You know, if you've ever climbed a mountain, right? It's focusing just on one step at a time. If we try to scale the mountain or look at the whole mountain all at once, it can be daunting. We can just be very easily give up, right? But if we take the patient road, right? Disciplined, one step at a time kind of attitude, then we can scale a mountain, right? So it is this kind of perspective. Anything in our life that does require the long road, does require discipline, does require patience, right? This is a really good time of implementing this side of ourselves and again, climbing these kinds of achievements or bigger picture things in our life through that slow and steady approach. So really good to do this, implement Capricorn qualities, and we could just notice themes right now in our life in terms of, again, the high point being around this disciplined, structured, and patient side of ourselves right now. So with the full moon, there's always oppositions because the sun is always opposite. But in this case, we do have quite a few planets next to the sun, particularly Venus and Mars. So in this context, this side of Capricorn, again, using Sidereal, these planets are in Leo. So in this sense, while we are taking this more serious, grounded approach to things, or can be implementing this side of ourself, it is also good to implement the fiery side of ourself of Leo. While doing that long-term stuff, patient stuff, still expressing ourselves, having some fun, playfulness, lightheartedness, right? Balancing this into the mix. Now with Venus in particular, Venus is very close to the sun right now. Venus represents our enjoyments, our values, and relationships. So really good to implement that energy as well. We could notice maybe some completion with our enjoyments, values, or relationships at this time. Again, maybe in the yearly sense. Great time to do a status check with these things as well. And again, maybe some shifts and changes, especially because the sun and Venus just conjoined right before the full moon, suggesting maybe some new beginnings involving our values and relationships. And also really good to incorporate things like fairness, mutuality, just general balance in life with the opposition up to Venus. Now also Mars, not too far away. Mars is about balancing, in this case, our initiating side. How can we incorporate some of this, right? Maybe taking action, maybe asserting ourselves, cultivating our independent nature, expressing our personal needs, especially in Leo, right? It's all about taking action right now in a way that could be fun, playful, creative, self-expressive, right? So balancing that side also. So a lot of this is, very important because we do have a lot of oppositions up to the full moon. So the theme will likely be around incorporating balance with both the Venusian things, Venus, values, receptivity, reciprocity, relationship stuff, as well as Mars, assertiveness, drive, directness, seeing how we can find balance with these things. All right, so that's the most important stuff with the full moon, those oppositions. We do have a trine between the sun and Jupiter very slightly, so that can sometimes be a bit of a sextile with Jupiter. Nothing major with this, but do know that it is a good time to continue to expand our perspective, see possibilities and potentials that can help balance out a lot of this Capricorn energy. And if we do look at the dispositor of Capricorn, which is Saturn, a lot of you know Saturn as that planet of limitation, just like Capricorn. Saturn is transiting through Sagittarius and is very close to the South Node and Pluto right now. So in this context, Sagittarius, much like Jupiter, is about expanding our worldview. So it's been a great year for seeing possibilities and potentials, but how they might take time. They might take space. They might take that patient, diligent approach. So a lot of the theme of this full moon could be around cultivating, again, that long-term perspective, maybe with inspirations or potentials or opportunities that, again, could take time with this kind of development here. And with the South Node, there could be a lot of structures being released, as there was likely the past few months. Structures, restructuring, with Pluto involved as well, releasing some past structures. And this is allowing for new steps in the right direction now, with maybe some either existing structures in new ways, more than likely, or possibly new structures as well. All right, so that's the full moon in a nutshell. Again, it will be concentrated here around Thursday, but we will feel it both days. As we approach Thursday, it is good to continue to do a bit of that status check. We will gain a bit more energy, more insight as we approach Thursday. And then after it, really good for implementation. What comes to our awareness, and how can we now implement this Capricorn, disciplined, responsible energy for the remainder of the cycle here. Now on Friday, we do have another aspect taking place. It is Mercury squaring up to Uranus. So Mercury, the planet of our minds and communication, in a bit of a challenging aspect with erratic Uranus. So on Friday, it is a really good day for thinking outside the box, trying new things, learning new things, communicating in new ways, right? Getting into this mental and communicative energy in a way that's progressive, innovative, even outside of our comfort zone can be great. But along with it, collectively may come a bit of erratic energy, may come a bit of nervousness sometimes, or just maybe busyness or something like this. It's very high frequency with Uranus. But it is good to implement this in conscious ways. So how can we be aware of our minds on Friday, be aware of our communications, just so everything's nice and balanced, we're not acting too rashly or impulsively, and we can again incorporate what can be a very constructive time for freedom and change and spontaneity with this square to Uranus. And there can sometimes be some new ideas, right? Uranus is like the scientist. It's like new ideas, thinking outside the norm. And with Mercury, that could be ideas or insights. Could even be a little bit of healing energy around this full moon as well, with Mercury trining Chiron, involving what we're thinking about, or maybe using our mind for healing or communication could be very therapeutic here around this time as a backdrop to that as well. All right, everyone, so that is the full moon in a nutshell, concentrated around Thursday. Most fundamentally, this is a now incorporation of Capricorn energy, the sea goats, the climbing, the long-term perspective, creating of structure, right? This working within our limitations and incorporating the limitation of self, which is like discipline, right? Persistence, perseverance, right? Patience, these kinds of things really good to cultivate at this time. Balancing that with receptivity in the sense of relationships, give and take, fairness, mutuality, a lot of new beginnings with our values there with that, and also incorporating some balance with our initiating side, our assertiveness, and our personal needs, all in the context of expressing ourselves with Leo. Great time for this, playfulness, lightheartedness, creative energy to balance out that more grounded, serious energy of Capricorn. All right, everyone. So one last thing is down below in the comment section, I will put which house this is for each of you individually. So do check that out for your sidereal sun sign. You can also look at that for your moon sign and your ascendant sign. You may want to look at all three as well, just to get a kind of different perspective, because these can be quite general with these general signs. But do check that out for more detail. For some of you, this is in the area of career, others in relationships, others in home. So that'll give you a little bit more detail in terms of what this status check, what this completion and the shifts and changes are with the full moon. All right, everyone, so have a fantastic full moon. Thank you again for watching. Be sure to click that like button if you haven't yet. Again, I appreciate all of your support with the channel, and I will see you all next time for the next daily forecast. Take care.